Hello, good evening and welcome. And today, finally, long delayed, the podcast is here. And with us is our special guest, Mr. Hayek's cat, or as his real name is, Kawaii-kun. Meow. How are you?
Or as his nickname is, someone who's late all the time and never tells us where he is.
Says you.
Yeah, I kind of got boned with a virus last week, and then
What,
I kind of...
The coof?
What?
The coof? Or just a virus?
No, not the coof.
Just
It
a
was
virus.
it was just a sore throat virus.
Mm-hmm.
Although the fever made me feel like I was gonna die, but...
You do know it affects cats, right? Corona-chan.
Oh yeah, it affects cats and dogs. That's
I
right.
don't know about dogs, but I knew it affected cats, and one cat got infected in the United Kingdom. You know, at least the first one that we know of. That is.
Or at least dogs can carry the disease. I don't know about being affected by it.
Dumb dogs always carrying diseases like rabies and God knows what else.
Their saliva can kill most things, but I guess not COVID.
At least it's a delayed.
Like, you can actually cure yourself of a sinus infection if you just let a dog lick into your nose for like an hour. Or at least dogs can carry the disease. I don't know about being affected by it. That's how my brother kept healthy.
Always carrying diseases like rapes. So anyway, tell the people a little bit about yourself.
Oh well, I'm pretty much just a monarchist of sorts. I believe you basically just you only have to collectivize like one or two things, like basic moral structure and force, and everything else can be left to the people to sort out themselves.
I basically agree with that. That's me. You're also a Hayekian, kind of like what I am, although I'm not, strictly speaking, an Austrian though. But I am a fan of Hayek. Have you actually finally managed to read him yet, though?
No, I haven't. I've pretty much just been busy doing like my job and doing art and other stuff.
You can't be Hayek's cat and not read his books, man.
I mean, Chicago Liberal kind of labeled me as a Hayekian. I mean, just by hearing him, like what I said to him about economics. So if the assumption is already there, then I guess I'm kind of paralleled with him in some way.
Just through your own thought patterns in many ways.
Yeah, I mostly just believe that central planning fucks shit up.
It's the
in most regards, because like you're not going to collectivize a lot of shit when you have more than 200 people in a society.
Exactly.
Because that's when people stop. Yeah, that's when people stop being able to process human relationships.
It's about 150 is when they stop being able to.
Oh yeah, 150.
And speaking
I always forget the exact number.
And speaking of people that I can't even process, how you doing, Alkazai?
And because of that, we have money.
Oi, Alkazai.
Yeah?
How are you?
Misogynistic.
Oh, yeah. For those of you who don't know, Jesus Christ. For those of you who don't know, Alkazai has decided recently that he no longer likes women.
That's always been the case.
Okay, explain.
Alkazai has disowned the women race.
Yeah, okay, so why have you decided to disown them? Why have you decided to live your life as a monk? Go on.
Because I realized I do not need them. I am better without them. I am more whole of a person.
But why?
You're a strong, independent man who'd need no woman.
Yeah, women are gay, that's why.
But why?
They just are, Mitch, okay?
Yeah, but there must be a reason other than just they're gay. I mean, are you gay?
Ooh, I smell weed. No, I wish, though.
You're in university, of course you do.
It's okay to be gay. Let's rejoice with the boys in a gay way.
Dude, I wish Wish I was gay, though. I wouldn't have to deal with women and their bullshit if I wanted a loving relationship. But unfortunately, that's not the case.
You could have a relationship that's basically like a business kind of deal. I don't know.
What do you mean?
Well, you know, never mind. I'm talking above my station. But anyway, so we've got some news for you people. Some very important news. First off, Chicago is not here, unfortunately. He's on his way home, but he will not be able to make it because he's somewhere. Like how Alcazar went camping a few weeks ago. Something like that, I guess. I can't remember exactly what he was doing.
Oh, yeah, I was at my cousin's river house down in the middle of nowhere in southern Missouri.
Yeah, he was. He was in the middle of bumfuck nowhere. And anyway, so Chicago's not here, unfortunately. F in the chat for Chicago. But we do have some interesting, I guess you could call it drama. It's all public now anyway. So cast your minds back, people, to a previous episode about 2 to 3 weeks ago. I can't even remember when it was. I forgot about this episode myself. It's entitled... It was entitled after a certain person. This person was Ray Murasami, and she's been trying to threaten me in Chicago because we used her name in the title. We didn't talk about her, although we did kind of, but only in reference to the title. It wasn't actually like, oh, how horrible is she? It's more like, well, you know this rumour that she might actually not be female. This is why we named it, because the actual podcast was in part about Lucy Brown and some of the stuff that she got.
She might not be a woman.
Yeah, that's one of the many rumours about her. It's more of a joke, if anything, from what I could gather. But anyway, that's why it was called Reverse Ray Murasami. That's the episode, because Lucy Brown was a woman pretending to be a man in, I guess you could call them fascist circles, because she's a bit of a fed. You know, like she's just doing that to record them and to get them to say things that can get them in trouble. That's what she was doing. And that's why we called her a reverse Ray Murasami, because the joke is that Ray is a man, but Lucy Brown was a woman pretending to be a man, and that was it. That was the extent of Ray Murasami's like reference and involvement, really, in all of that. But she, because she was clearly mentally ill and must be a bit narcissistic, thinks that it's all about her. She obviously hasn't watched the podcast. She just saw the title and assumed that it was about her and decided to threaten me in Chicago by saying, let me just quote, hang on. Well, she didn't even say this herself to us. She couldn't DM us. No. She's much too proud for that, I guess. Better to go through other people. Now, I'm not sure if this is third hand, fourth hand, sixth hand, second hand, God knows what it is. But this is what we got. Can you relay the message to Mitch in Chicago? So she's talking to some guy that I've talked to before, that they need to remove my name from that Fed video or there will be consequences. So she doesn't even know that it's a stream and that it's not strictly speaking about Feds. And even then, it's not even known if Lucy Brown even is a Fed. It's just a theory that she is one. And that there will be unknown consequences. I don't know what these consequences will be. What, is she going to false flag me? I can name my streams whatever I want. It's not breaking the YouTube terms of service, as far as I'm aware, to title my video.
She's gonna pull a Crown T.
Oh yeah, go on. I'd like to see that happen. She's gonna do some gay ops on me and find out where I live and stuff like that.
Trout and Key.
Trout and tea. So that's what she's been doing, and me in Chicago made it public, and she's refusing to respond to us online. I think I'm probably muted, although you never know. She might end up responding to us, but other than that, I'm not seeing anything so far.
I'm so much better than you that I'm not going to have any civil discourse with you.
And by the way,
having civil discourse, what are you, gay?
By the way, Chicago called her a Fed, though, on Twitter. Ray Murasami is a Fed. I don't know if she's a Fed or not. I just think she's strange.
Secret FBI agent.
FBI? No, she won't be FBI.
Oh,
she'll be MI5, won't she? She'd be GCQ or whatever, you know. That's because she's British.
Confession, guys, I'm actually a Fed.
Oh God, he did actually post private DMs. She was going on about in these DMs he posted about why she's not liked by Globe Twitter, which I assume is globalist Twitter, because she's a pan-Asianist.
Yeah, Twitter.
Yeah, she's a race hustler. And she was like saying, "Why are you becoming a voluntarist? Oh, it's so bad." And then she starts trying to shame him for being part Asian, and apparently trying to say that, "Oh, you're not proud. You hate Japan." He doesn't hate Japan. Like, just because he's not a Pan-Asianist doesn't mean he doesn't hate Japan. That's silly. And the reason why he's not a Pan-Asian, he says in it, is because the history behind all that, in World War II and things like that. Which is fair enough. I mean, that's like most Japanese people, right? They're not Pan-Asianists. So I guess most of Japan hate Japan, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, she's a lol cow and best ignored. We'll keep an eye on things, people. But by and large, I don't think anything's going to happen.
I also got her banned from a globalist Discord server.
How did you get her banned? Go on. The history behind all that.
Well, because so when Chicago started talking about this stuff, right?
Mm.
And he sent us the DMs in our group chat,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, oh shit, she's in this. I just realized she's in the server. So I'm a moderator on the server,
Mm-hmm.
so I showed the other moderators what's up, and they said, okay, you can ban her. Then I banned her, and I sent her a message goodbye chain or some shit.
You're cruel. I would never do that. But
yeah,
it's pretty funny though. I'm not gonna lie. So
yeah, well, Globe Twitter lets me be edgy, so whatever.
Yeah, well, I mean, you need your edge. You need your fix of being edgy, don't you? Every once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
So, like Hayek's cat, have you ever had any interactions with her?
With her,
Yeah.
no.
I envy
I
you.
just saw her in this server back when she was allowed in it.
Mm-hmm. Before the purge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not having her on this podcast anyway. You're not going to threaten me in Chicago with consequences. She can't even be brave enough to say what the consequences would be. Like, just tell us, come on.
Well, if it's anything that could actually hurt us, we'd probably just use it against her and get her like
There's
arrested
nothing
or
wrong
something.
with a bit of banter.
I
Come on.
completely forgot to mention, after we're done with Ray, I have some stuff to say.
Okay, do you want to say it now?
Yeah, I'm suspended off of Twitter for a week, guys.
Oh, good news.
Ha
No
ha.
more cringe.
It's so annoying. So there's this one account. His name is Richard Smith. I told Mitch about him a bit, and
I forgot who he was.
No, not Mitch. I mean Richard Smith. He's like this. He's a Nikki Haley simp, and he's really really weird.
Who's she again?
And so huh?
Who's she again? Nikki
Governor
Haley.
of South Carolina, and
Oh,
former UN ambassador
yeah. Ooh.
under Trump for like a year or two.
Mm-hmm.
And then so he does this thing where he polices a lot of people. So if you end up liking a tweet that criticizes Nikki Haley, which I did, he'll tag you and the other people that liked it and said, "Hey, why did you like this tweet?" And I was not going to give him the time of day to say, "Hey, fuck you, I can like what I want." So I said to him in the replies, quote, "Come pee poo retard faggot," and then left it there.
Mm-hmm.
And then I woke up the next morning, and Twitter said I've been suspended for a week because I advocated for violence.
Wait, you didn't advocate for violence. I didn't hear anything violent from you.
That's what I thought too, but Twitter.
We know what Twitter's
Twitter
like.
be Twitter.
But at the very least, they didn't ban you forever, which you would assume they would do.
You committed a microaggression.
1 million years in jail.
Yeah, so that's where I'm at right now.
Yeah, but you nearly served your suspension now anyway, and unfortunately for us, the cringe will return shortly, I guess.
Well, dude, I have an alt account, so.
Oh, you do? Oh yeah, I follow that. Is that your simping account? The one that simps for you?
No, it's not. I don't simp for anyone.
No, not you. It simps for you, doesn't it? You know who I mean.
No, that's not me. I didn't create that account.
I still think you did.
Okay, well, I didn't.
Okay, it was your mate, wasn't it? Apparently, allegedly. Even
Yeah,
he was
it
like,
was.
huh? I don't remember this.
Well, yeah, that's because he's doing a psyop.
Okay,
That's why.
do you want to explain this psyop? Go on.
So basically, he DM'd me and was like, "Hey, can I make you a Stan account?" And I was like, "Fuck it, sure, why not?" Thought it was funny because it's partially to make fun of like politician Stan accounts, and at AOC Ummies on Twitter. His name is Drew.
AOC Armies.
Ummies.
Ummies? What the hell's that? Or Ummies? I don't know. What is that?
I'll tell you later.
Oh, is it X-rated or something?
What? So his name is Drew, but like he's a semi big account on Twitter. He has like 4K followers now.
Damn.
He's basically known as like a simp, and he has created a cult of personality
around Nikki Haley.
So he has tons of Stan accounts, and so he created it as a parody of like the Stan accounts, and he just retweets and likes whatever I say now, and so it's great. I get free dopamine.
Free dopamine from some
free
rando
drugs
for a psyop.
Free dopamine.
I'd hate to have a Stan account. It'd be the worst thing in the world. Just liking everything. Oh, you're so amazing. Oh, he's so handsome, isn't he? I just get fed up with the compliments all the time.
Well, mine's ironic, so it's fine.
You have to be nice and accept it, and it's like, I just want peace and quiet. You get some people like that who just like... When I used to show my face a lot more, I've lost my camera battery, for those who don't know. I don't know where it is. It disappeared.
Why would you simp over being semantically correct when you can simp over being morally right?
I don't know, grammar Nazis, they work in mysterious ways. Anyway,
that would be her pickup line.
But people would they wouldn't actually comment on the video, they'd just comment on what I look like. So it'd be like, oh, you have such lovely eyes, or lol, you didn't shave today, you know. But yeah, I wouldn't. Compliments, I'm not very good with them. I don't know, I accept them, but it's like too many. So what was I going to mention earlier? There was something tangentially related to that. Oh, speaking of simps, did you hear about what happened with Bella Thorne? Like, what was it, 2 days ago?
Who?
Exactly, who? I'll explain it. Alcazar, do you know what happened with Bella Thorne?
I heard she did something, but I didn't care to look into it.
Yeah, so do you know who she is, though? Because you're the youngest here.
Yeah, she was a Disney Channel star on Shake It Up and did some other stuff, but that's what I mainly know her from.
But the thing is, I didn't know who she was at all. And then I saw some of the films she
was in. My sister was really into Disney back in the early 2010s, so I know all those stars.
Yeah, so was my sister. Well, actually, my sister was a bit too young, maybe too old. I don't know. 2009, she'd have been 10. Yeah, maybe. She was in Alvin and the Chipmunks, the Road Chip. So that's like the crap sequel. She was in Amityville: The Awakening and Infamous. Wait, is that a film?
Alvin and the Chipmunks is a cinematic masterpiece. You're just too stupid to get it, Mitch.
I just have too low an IQ to understand the amazing
songwriting of Alvin. To be fair, you have to have a very high IQ to understand Alvin and the Chipmunks.
I mean, yeah, they speak so fast. How could I possibly understand them?
Have you? You don't understand the influence it takes from Dostoevsky, all right?
Dostoevsky.
You don't understand. Yeah.
I swear you pronounce it as Dostoevsky.
Is that what I said? Who cares? Whatever.
You might have, yeah.
So what happened with Belle?
Okay, so she started an OnlyFans account.
She rung. That's what happened.
So she started an OnlyFans account, right? And promised all her fans that she would be posting, the obvious nudes and things like that on this account. And if they paid the certain amount, I don't know how much it was, but they would, get it. Turns out, no, they didn't get anything. It was probably something that wasn't even considered. It was lingerie-clad photographs, says Wikipedia. So it's not even porn. It's not even nude. It's underwear modeling, essentially. That's what it is. That's all they got. They basically paid for something that they were promised and didn't get, so it was false advertising. And she was the first person to earn about $1 million in the first 24 hours, and then she earned $2 million in less than a week.
You'd think a company like Disney would fire her over doing anything suggestive like that.
She's not been with Disney for a long time.
The show she was known for Disney ended 8 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's a adult star now. Quote unquote star. But yeah, basically, it was so bad that they started asking for write-backs or refunds. I don't even know how you can refund something like that, which is a subscription service. But it was so bad that they had to change the rules. So now you can only have a limit, like a $200 limit, the amount you can spend on OnlyFans at any given month, I guess. And that's angered all the thoughts on the OnlyFans, because now they're going to be affected by that. And to some extent, British Knight will be affected by that, because he has an OnlyFans for his content. He doesn't do nudes or anything like that, guys, just so you know.
Yeah, he does.
Oh,
he
my.
Oh my.
Lingerie, dude.
He does not do lingerie. He does it as a Patreon alternative, which is, by the way, what it's meant to be. OnlyFans is not necessarily a porn platform. It's just for some reason, maybe due to the structure of it, that's what it's become. I don't know why, but it is what it is.
Being pornographic is the meta in profits.
But like, it does make you feel so sad and empty inside that she managed to gain $1 million in a day doing that, and that there's people out there who would even simp for her in such a way.
Imagine fucking paying for porn. Holy shit.
I mean,
Pretty much.
I hate to say it, but she's nothing special. You know?
I mean,
You're not paying for the
but, like,
tits.
dude,
You're paying
it's
for the brand.
Yeah, that's essentially what they were doing. And when they discovered that, they were not happy, and they just, you know, basically destroyed OnlyFans as a model. And everybody's angry with her. And there's rumours that she did it for like a experiment for a role or something in a film. But the guy who was linked to the director was like, I'm not making a film with her.
Yeah, that kind of sounds a bit suspect to me.
Yeah, and she since apologised or something. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to. Oops, sorry. I didn't mean to.
I didn't mean to ruin everyone's income.
So I'm looking her up, right? So I'm looking at her personal life on Wikipedia, right? She was with Greg Sulkin, who's a British guy. He was in some. Oh, he was in Wizards of Waverly Place. Oh god, that's. Ugh. And she's Alphabet Soup, by the way, in case you didn't know.
Who?
Thorn.
Oh, what is she, bi? I think she was bi, right?
Pan.
Same thing.
And apparently she was in a polyamorous relationship with some musician called Mod Sun and fucking Tana Mongeau. Oh my god.
She dated Tana Mongeau?
In a polyamorous relationship. So this is the type of person we're dealing with.
Reminder that every pansexual wants to shove a frying pan handle up their ass.
Yes. And apparently
dude, you're literally just bi. Like, shut up.
Apparently she's been addressing the issue. Apparently it's an issue of that pornographic deepfakes are an issue. Not apparently a problem that needs to be addressed. When
Yandere dev deepfake porn.
I mean,
oh dude, that shit's hot.
Okay, Alkazai, steady on now. Calm down. It's just a picture. If I remember correctly,
I want Yandere dev, bro.
Yandere
He's a
dev.
catch.
He's ugly now, you know. Like he's really old as that. He's like in his 30s. That picture that everybody knows of him, he was like 20 or something. Blackwell Defender in the chat is saying, if I remember correctly, Hilary Duff was the only Disney star who did not have an underage scandal. Ah, you're missing one person. Kurt Russell is another Disney star. He used to be a Disney child actor who does not have an underage scandal. And then he says, so if OnlyFans is not for porn, will our boy make one? No, I will not make an OnlyFans. No. I refuse. No, never. No. I mean...
Gay?
No, I just couldn't. It's got too much baggage, you know? So anyway, let's see what her apology was. Because this is like breaking news and there's a Gundam did a video on it. Alright, so let's have a look. I'm bringing it up, guys. So, she says, I wanted to bring attention to the site. The more people on the site, the more likely you have a chance to normalise the stigmas. And in trying to do this, I hurt you. I have risked my career a few times to remove the stigma behind sex work, porn, and the natural hatred people spew behind anything sex-related. Well, you've only just made people hate it even more. Because what you did made people go, I can't believe that she made $1 million in a day, $2 million in a week. doing nothing and scamming people at that. And how was somebody like Bella Thorne going to make it more acceptable? Like, people would look at her and go, washed up Disney star, or at least somebody who hasn't had much work recently, going on to what is essentially a porn site, even though it's not. Desperate. That's what people would be thinking. They wouldn't be. I don't think they would think that. Oh, that must mean it's okay.
Not to mention, it gives the commies more reason to want to eat the rich.
Yes. I can't believe that they would exploit people using their hard-earned money to look what was essentially lingerie. How could you objectify yourself for this capitalist system? Shut the fuck up. Anyway, she says, I wrote and directed a porn against the eyebrows of my peers and managers because I wanted to help with the stigma behind sex. Wait, you have a porn now? Maybe I should research that. No, I'm joking. I am a mainstream face, and when you have a voice, a platform, you try to use you. Oh, what? In helping others and advocate for something bigger than yourself. Again, in this process I hurt you, and for that I'm truly sorry. Well, there's already porn stars in the mainstream. They don't need your help. They've managed to achieve success and stuff like that without you trying to help them. And these people on OnlyFans, they're like the lowest of the low when it comes to stuff like that. Like, I reckon porn actors look down on them. Because at least with porn actors, they actually have to work hard and go through contracts and business and things like that, and they actually do have to do some work. These people just go online.
Not to mention that they'll sometimes have directors.
And there's also like a process in how you do it. I mean, I'm sure some people on OnlyFans have some, production value, but with porn, there is an actual process. It's no different from making a film, only it's explicit. But like, these people have to pay other people who don't perform to do things so that they can do it. And not only that, especially the males, if they don't literally perform, they don't get paid. Like, it's lazy. Even if people don't have a problem with the sex angle of it, because I don't care, I have no issue with them doing what they want if they're adults and want to do that. I just find it lazy. That's my take on it. And I don't see how a former Disney star is going to make it look better. Like, I think this is for attention, personally. If then she's trying to say, like, oh, I didn't do it for me, I did it for you. No, you didn't. And they don't feel like that you did it for them, the people on that site. So anyway, she said, P.S. I'm meeting with OnlyFans about the new restrictions to find out why. This is so fucked up. And I'm sorry. Comment any ideas or concerns you want brought up to OnlyFans and send me your links and the pic so I can promote you guys. Well, if you didn't scam your own fans, they wouldn't be changing the rules. That's why they're changing it. You scammed your fans for somehow to make this, to remove the stigma. All you've done is made this look worse for people, because now people are going to think, well, if I donate to somebody who I like the look of, how do I know that they're actually not advertising what they say they're advertising?
Kind of like stripping in public for women's rights.
Yes. But the thing is, what about she doesn't actually mention gender, so and there are male guys on there as well. British Knight. He doesn't do nudes, but you've just made it look worse. You've made them look like con artists, you idiot. Hollywood, everything they touch turns to shit, man. They think they have the Midas touch, these people, but they don't at all. They're the worst kind of people in the world. Didn't Dick Coughlin make deep fakes of Phil Cold Bodies Can't Melt Steel Beams Mason? I don't know. It seems like something he would do, but I don't think so. I mean, I could actually always ask him. I have contact with him, but we don't talk to each other. But I've not heard about that. He may have done so, but it could have been. This goes way back, guys. This is during the heady days of when I first joined YouTube. But even then, like, nobody cares when it's a nobody like Phil Mason, I guess. Thunderfoot. So that's it really with Bella Thorne. Like, yeah, well done. Golf clap. You've made the platform look even worse. So I was watching Brittany Venti's video on it, and she calls them prostitutes, essentially, the people on OnlyFans, because what they're essentially doing, in her opinion, is that they sell themselves. So they're posting news on this place, and they charge money for it, and they're essentially selling their own bodies. And it's the reason they do it is either because they're mentally ill or they're desperate for money. So I was
kind of funny because she used to be just another Twitch girl.
Yeah, she did. Now, obviously, not as bad as that, but I've seen clips of her going, pushing the edge a little bit.
Pretty much.
But yeah, she sounded like a sex-negative feminist to me as opposed to a trad in these videos that I've watched. Because it's all about, women's bodies, women's this, when it's not just women who do that. Especially, at least on OnlyFans. With Twitch, it is probably mostly women, There's not really any male thoughts at the moment. At least not yet. So what do you think? Are they actually, would you say they're prostitutes? Or, because I can't quite, I don't know. I can see the argument, but I just don't see it.
Technically, no, but,
Because I feel like she's stretching, like, the definition of prostitute a lot, to even include porn stars. Hello, Mike Hunt. And I don't think porn stars are even, they're not even prostitutes, because they're not actually selling themselves, necessarily. I suppose if they're doing, like, solo stuff, maybe, but they're selling a product, which is either the film.
I mean, they're selling their labor.
Yeah, they are, actually, yeah. And they're actors, so they're not just always having sex on camera anyway. So, I don't know.
Right.
And with prostitution, there's always that element of non-consent. Like, there's always coercion involved. I mean, not always. In Nevada, it's legalized over there, so there is a lot of, consensual brothels and things like that. But porn is consensual by its I mean, not all of it, obviously, like child porn isn't. And apparently there's been a few cases of people who were trafficked on Pornhub that have been verified. But that could be people slipping through the gap, the gaps for all we know. I don't think that's representative of most people or, even a big minority. I don't think that's the case. But, what else? What was I saying before I forget? It's still consensual, though. You have to sign a contract to say that you're going to do this work and you're going to go through medical checks and all sorts, So that's why I don't think it's the same. Even though it includes sex, it's not the same. I don't think they're prostitutes because it's one, it's legal, and two, there's consent that's involved, and there's more than just sex. There's also, believe it or not, acting. Even if it's
there's actually a skill to it.
There's a plot, but that nobody ever watches. Did you know?
Guys, I watch porn for the plot.
Some people do, actually.
I do. I personally, it does not the clothes that do it for me. It's the, it's the riveting stories that they convey.
If somebody's funny, I'll watch it. Like, I'll watch the plot. If they're funny, if they got some charisma, I'll watch it. Or even acting ability. Even if somebody's obviously a good actor, I'm like, you know what? You're trying. I appreciate this. I will watch it. And then
some people do get creative with smut, I'll admit, but
I mean, one of the most there's like some mainstream films have even got like full, like X-rated stuff in it. Caligula from the 80s that had he wasn't involved in it, like the actual scenes, but Malcolm McDowell, right? Who's in like what video game was he in? Space Simulator. Hang on. Malcolm McDowell.
John Madden.
Malcolm McDowell. He was in A Clockwork Orange, right? Have you seen that?
Oh yeah, Clockwork Orange.
Yeah, he's in Caligula, and there's like full-on porn scenes in that film, but it's a proper like mainstream film.
Right.
Like one of the most famous films is called Taboo, and that was basically a film but with sex in it. I mean, it is a porn now, but back in the day, the line was more blurred than it is now. So.
Yeah, especially in the 70s.
I mean, they actually had budgets back then, and made actual films. That's what Boogie Nights is about. It's about the transition from what was essentially almost an art form to smut, to video friendly individual scenes, I guess. That's what the film's about, isn't it?
Reminder that Wizards from 1977 was a PG film despite borderline nudity.
Was it?
Base.
Wizards.
Oh yeah, it was a Ralph Bakshi film.
Wizards 1977. I'm gonna look at this now. I'm not gonna show it. Oh, I know this film.
What
Yep,
film
it got
is it called?
the film that got shown with Star Wars, the first one.
Oh, in the double
What
feature,
film-
yeah.
What
Yeah, it was
film?
double
What's the film
feature.
called?
Wizards 1977. It's an animated film.
The
Oh, God.
weirdest animated film of all time.
How is that?
I love
how is
it.
that a PG? That's pushing it. That's not even borderline, I'd say.
That's epic.
I'm gonna have to watch this now. I'd never actually seen it. Yeah, that's.
Oh my god, how the
That's
fuck was
not-
this PG?
That can't be suitable for kids. No way.
And of course, there's all the Nazi imagery.
Oh, it was made by Ralph Bakshi. Right, that explains it.
Yep.
Yeah, he did Fritz the Cat, didn't he? There's like that's got a scene in it where there's these. They're obviously meant to be like white female. I guess at the time they would be liberals, so SJWs for today, and they're like pruning over this. I don't think he's a cat. He's like a crow, is he? He's meant to be an African American, and like, oh, you're so amazing, and you must be so hard being oppressed and all that, and he just tells them to f off. And I thought, well, nothing's changed in 50 years. And that film came out in like 1969 or something.
Yeah, history rhymes with itself.
Mm-hmm. Oh, 1972, sorry. And what else did he do?
What film was it?
Fritz the Cat. It all makes
I've
sense.
seen it.
He also did I can't even say this title. Yeah, a lot of his films are like.
He did a Lord of the Rings animation.
He did that?
Yep.
Oh, he did? That's mental. So the guy who did Fritz
It's
the
actually
Cat.
pretty decent.
And he did Fire and Ice. Oh my god. Wow. This guy's done all sorts. That's pretty good. And he's still alive. That's mental. I didn't know he did I didn't know that was the same guy who did the Lord of the Rings animated film. That's amazing.
Yeah, the guy is a crazy dude.
Oh yeah, Nymphomaniac. Did that have unsimulated sex in it? No, I don't think so. I didn't hear about that. I know that the promotional pictures weren't simulated. So like the faces of them were an orgasm. PG-13 wasn't a thing until the mid-80s. Yeah, Jaws was PG. It still is actually. When we got like the DVDs a while back, and it's only like Jaws 4 or 2 that are like 12s. Like the first one's a PG still to this day. Because technically speaking, there's not a lot of gore in it or anything like that. It's perfectly PG, if you think about it. It's just scary. Which, as far as I'm aware, doesn't mean that the film is for adults if it's scary, you know.
Haha, shark go nom.
Shark go no. Or in the case of number 4, when the shark gets impaled, it blows up miraculously. Have you seen?
Ah, you son of a bitch!
Have you seen number 4? It's one of the worst films ever made, allegedly. I don't think it was that bad, but it's certainly crap. Number 3's better though. There's like a debate over which one's worse, number 3 or number 4. It's obviously number 4. Number 3's somewhat decent, and it's got Dennis Quaid in it. So that's that was an interesting segue into Wizards. That was paired up with Star Wars, really. That was a double bill, the feature. Wow, that's mental. So anyway, Hayek's cat.
Yes.
You got a story about how you managed. I don't know if we mentioned this on live. You may have done, but you stopped Chicago going to the dark side, didn't you?
Yeah, for becoming a Keynesian.
Yeah. For those of you who don't
I
know,
mean,
I
I'm
didn't know
mostly
this. Go on.
yeah. Like we were having a debate about
Hmm.
economics when like we were out for dinner
Mhm.
one night, and he was making a similar talking point to how what Cenk Uygur said about economics to Ben Shapiro, and I immediately recognized this, and I'm
Mhm.
like, oh hey, this is Keynesian economics. Well, here's the problem, buddy. Like, if you're just gonna slow down industry just for the sake of giving everyone just a bit more currency, all they're gonna do with that extra currency is buy it on a more useless shit for themselves.
Hmm.
And you pretty much slow down industry for essentially nothing.
Yeah, pretty much. And he was like, "That made sense."
And I also told them don't care as much about giving people more currency and give more of a shit about whether or not people could get assets in general, and that's why you
Hmm.
let let industry keep making shit. So eventually, more and more stuff will become uh, more affordable to find themselves in the pockets of
Mhm.
everyone else.
So how did you end up becoming more for free markets and things like that? What changed your mind, or was it something that just made sense when you read about it?
Um, Gosh, like I'm trying to remember like all the way back to like middle school and stuff.
Hmm.
Like I remember I was like a hard-on Democrat when I was in middle school, and then like I don't remember. Yes, something convinced me in high school. I don't remember.
Hmm. Well, my turn was very recently, actually. About a year or two ago, I finally decided where I stood economically, and because for years I was like really undecided, and now I know for sure it's the free market is the way. Like there is no bones about it. The evidence is there. All the evidence to the contrary just leads to famine and starvation and death and destruction and laziness and all sorts of horrible stuff. And inflation and deflation.
I think I always had a sense that like
Hmm.
just throwing all the means of production into one power structure would just fuck everyone up eventually,
Hmm. And have you noticed now that
even if it doesn't happen right away.
I've noticed now the
Like a
commies
power structure will always corrupt itself.
yeah, I noticed the commies are now trying to say that oh, we'll just get AI to sort out the economy and plan it, as if the AI would not have the same issue that a human would have trying to plan the economy.
Yeah, like they're made by humans. They would
Hmm.
have intellectual limitations of humans.
And how can they read people's minds? So how do they know what a person needs and how much of it he needs, and how would they know what this particular industry needs? Remember, it's trying to plan. They're trying to centrally plan an economy the size of. Well, you can't even centrally plan it for Britain, and we're a smaller country than America, and they think the AI can somehow know where everything needs to go for 65 million people, maybe 70.
Right?
No, it doesn't. They don't. It wouldn't know. It wouldn't know where to begin. It would tell us cannot compute. Do not know the answer. That's why we have prices so that we know where things go. So we know what people need. Like it's already done for us. We do it anyway without realizing. We don't need. It doesn't need
Yeah.
to be planned. But well, people still don't recognize this basic fact. It
Yeah, and the
astounds
basic
me.
fact that we as humans can only maintain only a certain number of
Mm-hmm.
healthy relationships with one another,
Yeah.
and like without money, we're just basically making everything inefficient.
So how does an AI manage to do that then? How does an AI manage to keep in contact with more than 150 people? I can't imagine it's able to do that, right? Wouldn't it just get overloaded?
No, not necessarily.
Yeah, not
Like,
necessarily, but like,
Well, it wouldn't be able to, you know, it wouldn't be able to talk to everybody at once. That's what I mean.
right.
But I know that the Soviet Union in the 80s they tried computers, And I know it's a different technology and all that, and it's not AIs, but they tried to use supercomputers, didn't they, to try and program and calculate what they need, and it didn't work. Computers can't do it because they're limited by us.
Yep.
So no matter where they go, the calculation problem will always persist. And so, and another thing, like I was watching this guy called what's he called? Let me just look him up. He's a Scottish guy who he's very. I guess if you don't know much Scottish jargon, you're gonna find him hard to understand because he just doesn't filter his accent. He just says it as it is, you know. He's called Libertarian Scotty, I think. Let me just look that up. Libertarian. Yeah, Libertarian Scotty. And he did a video response to when he did one to somebody called Thought Slime. Have you heard of them?
Oh yeah, I've heard of Thought Slime.
Yeah, he's a bit. Oh, it's funny. He calls rich people perverts. I noticed in this video that Scotty was responding to. Yeah, he sounds a bit. Some of the things he said about, oh yeah, like you won't need to. The capitalists won't need to like. Oh no, the workers will find it easy to get the capitalist factory because the army and the police won't help him because there's no state. And I'm like, that's not authoritarian.
Oh, did you guys see Rasmussen pollsters blocking everyone?
Who?
The Rasmussen pollsters.
I don't know who that is.
Oh, it's a conservative pollster. And apparently whoever runs the account, their Twitter account, just went fucking crazy last night and started blocking everyone. Don't know why.
Interesting.
They were making fun of them because they're like bad at polling. They because like a conservative pollster and like really biased towards the Republicans, and so whenever elections come out, they always like fail dramatically. So people were making fun of them last night, and they just fucking freaked out, started mass blocking people. It was really funny. They just had a mental breakdown.
Interesting. So anyway, he was responding to this Thought Slime. And then I saw one on Ash Sarkar, and they're all convinced that basically full automation's going. Well, not full automation. Automation's going to make people lose jobs, and these people are just not going to find any. So they're going to be lying around with nothing, and they're not going to be able to make money. And he's like, look, automation is not going to end jobs, because as we've seen in the Industrial Revolution and even before that, with the Agricultural Revolution, things like that, it actually creates jobs. And not only that, these people. It would be impossible for them not to be standing around doing nothing. They will be finding jobs, because if they don't find jobs and if they're not making money, then the economy is going to ground to a halt. And if you think the only option then is to print money, then you're going to get hyperinflation.
You talking about modern monetary theory?
No, he was responding to Ash Sarkar going on about automation, and then there's another thing she says, like so she thinks eventually there's going to be no money, yet she's worried about people having money. So she's worried about she wants fully automated luxury communism, but then automation is a concern at the same time.
Fully automated luxury space communism.
Yes. For some reason it's the end goal, but then at the same time she's still worried for the workers. Like, make your mind up, are you anti-money or pro-money? Like, I don't know.
It's kind of funny when collectivists say they hate monopolies, and yet they want to make a government be the monopoly. It's like, how is that any different?
Yeah, like she's interviewed by Owen Jones in one of these clips that he responds to in the video, and the definition of communism is basically right-wing libertarianism. Right? And
what?
Yeah. She just straight up uses the definition of libertarian for communism. And then when you go through what they actually believe, that can't possibly happen, because when you collectivise and socialise the people, their individual wants and needs aren't even recognised, because what you do is you just put it all into the state. That's what it means. So in the end, the individual is not enlightened. They are not helped. In fact, they are smothered by it. And she doesn't realise that. Or if she does, she's just lying. I don't know. But this is what they believe. This is what communists believe. It's just beggars belief. It doesn't make sense. So I recommend Libertarian View Scotty M. I will see if I can track him down on Twitter or whatever. See if I can talk to him. Always on Discord, so I might try and get him on. Although I'd like more people that aren't like libertarians or neolibs, like you, Alkazai. Anybody in the middle.
You need to talk to more neolibs. You need to learn our perspective.
I know your perspective. I used to vote for your parties.
Used to be Lib Dem.
No, I used to vote Labour, remember?
Okay, Tory
Labour's
Blair's
neolib.
more of a social democrat, but...
No, the neolib. And then, I don't know, neolib, whatever, that could be left alright. But, yeah, more people. We need more people. But he's somebody who's interesting. And I want to bring him on to see if you can understand him as well, because I can. I know what
Imagine voting for Labour. Fuck me, dude.
I did back in the day, yeah.
Oh, man. Why?
I think it was just a little bit tribal when I shouldn't have been tribal, and I should have known better, really. I think that's what it was, ultimately. I wasn't really thinking about it.
Who do you vote for now? Do you vote for Tories? Do you vote for the Libertarian
No,
Party?
I spoiled my ballot at the last election. I mean, there's no point. It's a safe seat where I am for Labour, so I can't get Rebecca Long Bailey out.
Oh, yeah, dude. Honestly, I'm really liking the Tories right now.
Of course you are. Of course you are, even though I don't particularly think they're based. I think they've messed everything up, but they had a mandate that they couldn't possibly mess up what they have, so... Because they've gone more to... Because rather than be Tories, they're trying to be Labour of 1997. In fact, worse. They're actually worse than Blair.
Tories are not worse than Blair.
I mean, not in terms of personality and things like that. I mean politics. That's what I mean. But anyway, Black Lord Fenrir says, like that old Chomsky meme, he complains about corporate power corrupting the state, yet he spots giving more power to the state to end corporate corruption. Yeah, like corporatism exists because of state intervention. That's why they give them handouts and special grants and privileges that the little guy doesn't get. That's why there's corporatism.
Yep.
In fact, fascism is based on corporatism. It's syndicalism. Or where does syndicalism come from? Socialism.
Well, didn't fascism first and syndicalism second?
No, syndicalism came first, then fascism. Because Mussolini was a socialist syndicalist before he became a fascist in the late 1910s. In fact, a fasci was originally a word that was like a group or a force, I think. Let me just...
Oh, wait, it comes from the Roman Empire.
No, that's a fascio or fasci here is a bundle, but it can also mean league. So a fasci was a league before it became known as a ideology. So like his first group was like the League for Summit, but it wasn't known as the Fascist Party or whatever until much later, I think. So like a league could mean a syndicate, could mean a corporation. So fascism is basically leaguism or corporatism, I guess, if you think about it.
Remember, guys, if you believe in a free market, you're a fascist.
Yeah, and remember, basically, Italy became one big union. Or a collection of different unions, that's the idea, or like corporations. A syndicate.
Vosh's wet dream.
Yeah. That's exactly what it was. It was like he split up. The idea was to split it up, and then under this umbrella of one corporation, there'd be loads of other corporations. It's weird, but yeah, it's all state run, so it's not run like an actual business. P-man, I voted Tories both times, then didn't realise I was endorsing Social Democrats. What happened with the British Union of Fascists in London? I can answer that. They got beat up. Oh, do you mean recently? Okay, so for those of you who don't know, and there was this anti-COVID lockdown protest organised by David Icke, and obviously his fans were going to be there, the conspiracy tinfoil hat types. who think that it's caused by 5G and things like that. World War II happened. Not those ones, William. But anyway, this old boomer was spotted with a Mosley flag, which is the circle with the thunderbolt, and that created a storm on Twitter. And it's like, one, he doesn't represent David Icke, clearly. He's there for his own reasons. And two, David Icke has never expressed any views remotely like Oswald Mosley. or anything particularly fascist. He's just the British...
Wait, is David Icke the guy who thinks the moon is an egg?
No, he thinks that the Queen and all the elites are lizards. That's what he thinks.
Oh, it's that guy. He's funny.
Yeah. That guy wouldn't be a fascist. Behind all the conspiracy theories and mumbo jumbo, the guy ultimately wants people to be free, which is a noble goal. The problem is he's fighting the wrong people. Or at least he's wording it different. But he wouldn't like Mosley or anything like that, the guy's never really talked about that stuff or expressed anything like that, He's just a pseudo-scientific weirdo person, and that's fine. And I think that boomer with the flag was planted anyway to make him look bad. I'm convinced. Why else would somebody randomly turn up with a flag like that? Like, not even patriotic alternative, actual Mosleyites actually, use his flag in person. They use their own flag, William Spalding asks, why is Mosley becoming a figure in the tradcon sphere? I don't know, which is weird because he was like a futurist and modernist in many ways. Yeah, David Icke is a leftist. He's a Green Party. He used to be a Green Party spokesman. Yeah. I mean, there's not too much separation between those two sides, but he's not a Mosley supporter by any means. But to answer the question, it's simply because of the race angle. That's what it is. Although, again, I often ask these British ethnonats, if we are to have one, who's going to be more dominant, the Scots, the English, the Welsh, or the Northern Irish? Because I can guarantee you most of them will not want the Northern Irish to be leading things. But either way...
that's going to fuck itself.
Yeah, I mean, the idea of... There's no such thing as a British ethnicity. There's the English, the Scots, the Welsh, and the Irish, and then there's people like me who's mixed race, and everybody else who falls under the umbrella British. But then you've got, your other ethnicity or whatever. It's more of a... British is a citizenship or a subjectship, whatever you want to call it. It's an idea. It's kind of like American, actually, which is probably where you got it from.
A nation.
Yeah, it's a... No,
well, I mean, you can identify as American on your Census Bureau, but that's only mostly for people who don't really know what their ancestry is.
Ah, right, okay.
Dude, I don't know my ancestry.
Before the term American was introduced, most people identified as English on those surveys.
Which is what they mostly are, anyway.
Oh yeah, but they're not entirely sure.
Rich Dorrit says his friend is an ethnonat. Is he English or is he American or is he Dutch? Again, I'd like to know which of the four nations is going to be the most dominant. Anglo-Saxons and Celts are two different things. Are we going to start race merging? Well, they're not two different races, are they? But I know what you mean. I mean, people are already merging. I'm part English, Trinidadian, Irish, and Scottish. So we already are intermingling anyway.
I'm English and Polish, good on my level.
But not everybody has, obviously. Most Scots are still Scots, and most English people are still mostly English. It's only up north and on the coasts and in the big cities that there's been more.
Took a DNA test. I got 83%.
Imagine Scots mixing with the British.
You mean the English? Because Scots are
The
British.
English.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
On the border all the time. Yeah. But yeah, P-Man's right. The English probably would anyway dominate. So it's really more English nationalism if you think about it. What patriotic alternative is? It's not actually British nationalism. I don't know. Wait, what? She's part black? That's mental. What is it with these mixed race people who become ethnonats? Doesn't make sense. Because she'd be the first against the wall. She'd be with me and be like, first time? Part potato. Yeah, so am I. But anyway, we are approaching the end in 30 seconds time, people.
Yeah, I gotta do homework. Let's get this shit under the
So,
wraps.
Alcazar,
Alright.
do you have any last words?
Biden 2020.
Absolute cringe. I disavow such messages on this podcast.
Cringe.
Oh,
Hayek.
you'll let me say slurs on stream, but
Yeah,
that's
'cause that's-
what gets you.
Yes. Hayek, any last words?
Meow.
Meow. And my last words to you all
Fucking
are
furries.
David Icke did nothing wrong and the Mosleyite guy was a plant. See you later, guys.